discover your passion for storytelling and the arts?
I grew up doing theater in my grade school. And I think that from the moment I stepped on stage and did my first play, which was Wizard of Oz, I was crow number 6. And I knew it was my calling. I loved entertaining. I loved making people laugh. I loved stepping into a different reality and world creating. And I really, truly knew at a very young age that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life because I just loved to play. It took a lot of convincing with my parents. You know, both of them immigrated to the US from Mexico. This was not their world at all. They had no idea how to even start and didn't really know what to do with a kid who wanted to go up to LA to audition, you know? So in that regard, I feel now in retrospect pretty lucky because it was the challenge of finding my path, knowing where to go, the mistakes I made, who to trust, who not to trust, that really made the success of it worth it, you know? Because if it would have just been handed to me, I don't think I would have tried this hard, you know?
Yeah, love that.
So,
When you look at your career as a whole, who or what has had the biggest influence, either personally or professionally?
oh man, I think this is a 2-part answer. The first was probably surprisingly doing a telenovela, which in Latin America is similar to a soap opera.
Mhm.
I had such a judgment of that before coming in. You know, I didn't like the way in which telenovelas were shot, the storytelling, and also I was judgmental because I thought it was kind of like a stereotypical version of what the world thought of Latinos, right? And then I got the opportunity to actually act in the telenovela. And although I wasn't in love with the content and some of the storytelling, that has been probably one of the most biggest learning experiences on technicalities as an actor that I've ever received. Because I mean, it's no joke. You're learning 20 to 30 scenes a day. You have to hit every mark. You have 3 cameras going. You better know your lines. You better not block your co-star's light or their camera. You know, it was like a hyperspeed training from going from not acting to being thrown into a very technical way of acting, but also knowing to trust myself, knowing when to, you know, enunciate a line, when to back off, going from crying to laughing to being angry, you know. So even though I had so many preconceived notions of what it would be, it gave me so much discipline as an actor. And then I think on the other hand, personally, my mother to this day inspires me so much. She became a single mom at a young age, and you know, she never stopped working a day in her life to make sure that we had a life full of so many privileges, education, a home, being able to travel and love and support. And she's my inspiration every day. I still believe no one works harder than she does. And that has always been my inspiration to keep pushing on. That there's always time to do better. There's always time to study more, to hone your craft. So for that, I'm always really thankful, for sure.
Well said. And you're currently one of the stars of Promised Land. And can you tell us about the series and your character in it?
Yes. So Promised Land is about a Latino family vying for wealth and power in the Sonoma County. Joe Sandoval, my father, owns the biggest wine producer. I think they're third in the country. And everyone around him in his family is trying to take control. My character, Carmen, is a bit of an underestimated player. She's the artist of the family. And so no one really expects anything from her. And that is what makes her dangerous. And on a personal level, I feel as though even Carmen doesn't know her place in the business or the family. But it is because she's not vying for a seat that she might be the most dangerous player.
A perfect segue to this next question, but so much of Carmen's journey is about identity and finding her place, like you just said. And I think unlike the majority of her family, she doesn't see things in just black and white. How did you create the space for yourself to dive into the journey that's been unfolding in this first season?
It's funny because at the beginning, when we first did the pilot, Carmen was radically different. She started off the season actually doing something almost unforgivable. And at that point, I had to find a way to kind of like come back from that and find a way that the viewers were going to have love for Carmen, even though she had done something unspeakable. But then after we got picked up, things shifted and Carmen kind of had this beautiful reimagining where now she's underestimated. And for me, I think my biggest challenge was, how do we make this spoiled rich girl seem not only attainable to viewers, but that you also want to root for her? Because when you're looking at from the outside, she has everything she could ever want. She's grown up with a silver spoon. You know, she's attractive, she's charming, she knows what she does have and has not. So why are we rooting for her? And I think that was something that I was always asking myself in every episode, is what makes her have this depth, which I hope, is translated on screen. But I think that with everything that starts happening to her, we get to see her evolve and grow and go from this spoiled little girl to someone who can stick up for herself.
You do such a brilliant job displaying all the different layers to Carmen. And one of my favorite things about her is that she keeps the other characters on their toes. How much fun has it been for you to play her? And has anything surprised you about her arc thus far?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's been so much fun to play Carmen because you really never know what she's going to do or what she's going to say. And I think that there is that cutting sarcasm in that wit because she gets to kind of step away and see the big picture and see how these people are just fighting and chewing their heads off when she's just kind of like taking notes in the background. And so I think that what has surprised me is truly the level of knowledge that she actually has about this business, because she's grown up around it, because she knows what people like, what people don't like. And I think that Mariel, have been surprised to see that Carmen knows a lot more than she's willing to let on. And that even though sometimes she comes off as big and bold and bright, she keeps a lot locked in and she knows when to use it and when to fight back.
Episode 6, we see how far Carmen is willing to go for her family. What was your reaction when you read that twist that happens towards the end of this episode?
I remember when I read the episode and I read that Carmen kisses Michael, I threw my script. I threw it. I was so pissed. I could not believe it, but it goes to show the writing on the show because I was truly in belief that Carmen got to that point. You know what I mean?
Same.
Here's this sister who she already put her neck out for, who she already defended to her death and covered up a possible murder. And this woman won't even give her a pitch? Come on. And so I understood her anger in that moment and maybe confusing it between the drinking and, this shared hatred towards Veronica in that moment. I bought it. I really did, which maybe isn't the best. And so then when I saw the twist, I was like, no way, it's genius. And also, we get to see in the end that it was Carmen's idea.
Yeah.
You know, it was Carmen that said, you know what, this is kind of screwed up. And this is really something that I don't even know me, Mariel, if I would do for my sister. But she's willing to go there. She's so loyal. And she's like, there's only one way we're going to catch him. And this is it. This is our out. And what's funny is what I was kind of alluding to. I didn't know how much I could or could not say, but in the pilot episode, originally, Carmen was having an affair with
Oh,
Michael.
interesting.
That was how Carmen's character was perceived before we started the series. So at the beginning, that was what was going to be put out in the pilot. And thankfully, I think it changed. So yeah.
There's such a great chemistry that comes off the screen between you and the rest of the cast. How were you all able to build that bond? And what's been your favorite relationship of Carmen's to explore in season 1 and why?
Oh gosh. We got so lucky, Kevin, because this cast, oh man, I could just sit here and cry it all out with you. I love them so much. We got so close when we shot the pilot in Georgia. We bonded immediately. For a lot of us, this is like our first big thing. And I have so much respect and admiration for them. I've learned something different from each and every one of the castmates. I just left a trip to Big Sur with 5 of them. I got back yesterday. So we're really close. We were really lucky to share this. And I think that in season 1, the relationship I was most excited about was the one that I have coming up. And you've seen a little bit of it now with Mateo, played by Augusto Aguilera. As an actor, I respect him so much. He is one of the most disciplined actors I've ever worked with. And we're also such different people. And we're such different characters. So I think just the coupling of these 2 very odd people is beautiful, and it's so harmonious, and it just works, and it's also hilarious. So I just can't wait for you guys to see the birth of Carteo, is what I like to call it, of Carmen and Mateo. It's just a lot of fun and so random.
Such a great teaser. You've shared on social media that this project has been a dream come true for you. What has it meant for you to make your American television debut on a show that's tackling such timely and relevant themes? And you were talking about your parents earlier. What has it been like to share this moment with them as well?
Promised Land has truly been the fulfillment of that same American dream we talk about in the show.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think my parents ever imagined that one of their kids would be in Hollywood. And I think just being first generation and seeing how hard my parents worked to be here and to have their own dreams fulfilled is anything, you know, it's an inspiration. And I think that for a very long time, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to be able to get this opportunity to work in this country as an actor. You know, there was a part of me that thought, you know, you're not good enough for American TV. And I think that also had to do a lot with my identity. I never felt fully American. I always felt like I was a little bit Mexican and a little bit American. And even when I was in Mexico, I didn't feel fully Mexican. And there is that bicultural kind of like identity crisis that a lot of first generation Americans and immigrants feel. And I think that what better an opportunity than to really step into that than with a story like Promised Land, where I get to explore these themes. And it's been a gift, man. I mean, I can't even begin to describe what this has done for me and what it's made me grow as a person, and also what it's made me learn about the current struggles that so many immigrants have, not just Latinos, but so many immigrants coming into this country in hopes for a better life.
Yeah, you and the cast are in such a unique position where you get to see the response from the fans in real time and their voice, how much this show has made them feel seen. What has it been like for you to get to share this moment with the fans as well?
Oh man, that has been one of the most rewarding experiences, is to see the amount of support through social media,
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram. I will get direct messages from so many people saying how thankful they are that we're representing them, that they're watching with their abuelitas, that, you know, they are watching with their younger siblings, that they see the struggles of their grandparents being portrayed. And man, without being cheesy, that's why you do it, you know? That's why you do it. You hope that there is something in this show that resonates to you and that makes you feel like you're seen and you're heard, and that whatever struggle you're going through is worth it at the end of the day. And if there is someone out there that feels that, then I've done my job, regardless of what happens to this show, to this cast, even to my career, you know?
Mm.
It's super meaningful, and I'm honored to be a part of a show that is representing people all over the country that have gone through that.